What is going on, everyone? Sorry that I'm 2 minutes late. I had to finish up a very important discussion about Jersey Shore that happened last night. You know what I'm saying? I'm on season 2 at the end of the season. They're in Miami. It's getting good. Had to finish up a juicy conversation about that. But what's going on? What's happening? We had a big Flyers game last night. Big win. Claude Giroux really helped the squad get back into it. Jake Voracek, the leadership last night was very special. What else is on the table? Sixers, Knicks tonight. Ben Simmons back in action. That'll be fun to see how they not bounce back, but how they build off of this hot stretch that they're on. What is Matisse Thybulle going to be like? What is this bench going to be like? And we got a little bit of Philly spring training, right? So we got a lot on the table here. I'm excited to talk some sports. So what's happening? What is going on, everyone? Good morning. Does everyone have their coffee? Yep, Bryce Harper is playing today. He's playing right field. And I believe Mickey Moniak is also getting some time. So I will give you the full rundown in just a second here. But for the most part, I don't think it's anything crazy. McCutchen, Hoskins, Harper, Bohm, Gregorius, Segura, Knapp, Moniak, Nola. I lied. That's fantastic. I am super excited for that. Super excited. So the Eagles are signing everyone, right? No, I'm going to go with no. But isn't that expected? I mean, let's not blow this out of proportion and think that we should be signing all these guys like, hey, Jalen Mills gets signed and Nelson Aguilar gets signed. These are the same players that people didn't want here in Philadelphia when they were even here, right? So I get it. You want to sign some guys, but you kind of knew. You kind of knew that this was going to be the route that was taken this year. Thoughts on the Fitz signing? Well, Fitz is always a guy that just crushes, absolutely crushes the Eagles every time they play. So from that perspective, it kind of stinks. But, he's a journeyman veteran quarterback that has explosive rides. He's got some great stretches in his career. So I would imagine that during this, let's say he plays 16, I'd imagine 9 of those games or so are Fitzmagic type games. And then maybe 7 of those games are a little bit ugly and shows why he's a journeyman. That would be kind of my guess on what you would get out of Fitzmagic, or maybe more 8-8. If you were going to, because that's probably more realistic from a guy that is struggling to find a starter spot fully and all. So let's go 8-8. Yes, the Phillies lineup is out. I just read it off, but I will read it off again just in case you are joining us now, which is only 3 minutes into the show. But Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, Gregorius, Segura, Knapp, Moniak, Nola. So that is who is on the bump for the good guys. Aguilar had 9 catches in the Super Bowl. People forget that. Yeah, but it's funny. I always have this debate with people all the time. Was Nelson Aguilar a bust? And everyone says yes. But dude, he had some really important plays in the Super Bowl. He had some really important plays that season. If I told you you're going to draft someone in the first round, that first-round draft pick will help you win a Super Bowl, but he'll stink for a couple of years surrounding that Super Bowl. Would you take it? And everyone's answer in a heartbeat would be like, absolutely. No doubt about it. And now it happens, and that guy stinks, that guy sucks, and I get it. But I'm just saying, I just think it's funny that that's how it goes. Loved the instant reaction with everyone last night. Yeah, so if you didn't catch it, we're doing this once a week right now. Super excited about it. Mark Farzetta, myself, Nasty, and Riley Cote. We did an instant reaction to the Flyers game on Twitter, on social media, on YouTube, all over the place. And we had a reaction to the game. Riley Cote, former Flyer. Nasty was the former equipment manager for the Flyers. And, of course, Mark Farzetta is host of the Farzy Show. And you've seen him around. So we just did like a round table kind of discussion on what we saw with the Flyers and the Rangers last night for that overtime win. So very fun. Keep your eye out for it. And you can also find it on my YouTube channel. Farabee is a stud. Dude, Joel Farabee is unreal. And obviously, when you make that type of trade with Braden Shen, you anticipate seeing him as a guy who will play your top 6 minutes. But I think it's a lot more than that at this point. He is your legitimate top winger, and he is unreal. unbelievable. It's really fun to watch. What I would need to see out of him, though, is because we've seen Travis Konechny have a nice season last year. He battled it out in the playoffs and not battled it out, but he had tough moments in the playoffs, and he hasn't been able to get back to himself. Is this really Joel Farabee, or is this a product of one of those seasons? For example, JVR. Last year, he sucked. This year, he's having a great year. We know more about JVR because he's had a longer window and he's had more moments in this league. So we know more about JVR. But with Joel Farabee, so young into his career, I need to see a big sample size of if this is who he is. But that's amazing. I do know, though, that I need a big-ass swig of this coffee because I am having myself one of those mornings where it's like you wake up, one eye's kind of open, you keep nodding off, the dog's licking your face, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, just so hot, like burns my mouth every damn time. Thoughts on Doug's interview with John Clark? Did I miss something? Because I would love to hear Doug. So Doug Peterson spoke with John Clark. When was this? Oh, wow. I didn't see this. It was 58 minutes ago. The problem is I'll have to check it out, honestly. I did not listen to it yet. It does seem pretty cool. I will say, though, that I feel it's going to be one of those. It's similar to Nick Sirianni, right? So when Nick Sirianni and Dave Spadaro did their original interview with each other before his opening interview press conference with the media, very staged, very behind the scenes, very produced. And I'm not going to say that this is going to be to that level because John Clark is a very respected journalist and he has these people. And, it's not the same as the Eagles releasing a video with Nick Sirianni. It's not the same. But I do think that there will be a little bit of, hey, let's milk this thing. Let's make it look good. Let's make it look pretty. There might be a little bit behind, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to watch it, and I'll let you know after I watch it. Chris Sheehan with a $2 donation. Want to Venmo me $20 if the Sixers win tonight, please. I wish I could do that, but unfortunately, I don't think that is something that I could do. But thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really do appreciate it. Now, I did see something about the fans in the stands here that I wanted to pop up on the screen. How do I feel about fans in the stands? It's time. It's time. Now, do I think it's time to go full throttle Florida like UFC 261 and Texas? No, I don't think it's time to go full throttle to that degree, but I do think it's time to go significantly more than 3,100 at the Wells Fargo Center. I do think it's time to pop the number up from 9,000 at an outdoor stadium in Citizens Bank Park. So I'm all cool with it. I'm ready to rock and roll with fans. But yeah, I'm not in full Florida mode yet. I'm not in full Texas mode yet. But I do think it's time to hey, you know what? 9,000 in a 40,000 person stadium. We could do more than that. We could pump that up. Let's try and go 50, right? Let's try and go 50%, 20-something thousand. Now we're in business. Now I think we're there. So, and it does seem like they're realizing it and they're inching themselves closer as time continues to pass here. It's all right, they just opened 31. Now I saw something about maybe 5,000 indoors. And now we're seeing more numbers jump up with the outdoor stuff. So hopefully that's where this all trends. It does seem like it is trending in that direction, which is nice. But I'm all here for it. What type of coffee today? Well, Dominic, I'm going with Pete's. Pete's medium roast, nice and black in my Blue Yeti. Amazing. Artie says, Claude Giroux's leadership is great. Claude was awesome last night. Claude was phenomenal. He put the team on his back. He willed them to win, him and Jake Voracek. The way that they battled, the way that they really willed that team to victory. The power play setup was tremendous. The power play starting to look good. They're starting to get some rhythm. You figured at some point it had to get better because it was that much of a tragedy. It was a tragedy to watch that team play every single time they tried to set the puck up. Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek, that fourth goal to tie it up, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. 5,200 in the Wells Fargo Center now. Yep, 5,200. They want to increase capacity to 25%. Yeah, I think we're going to slowly start to see this transition happen, and I'm so damn excited for it. What do we got here? The fans keep shooters accountable. I guess we're switching to a little bit of some 76ers talk here. The fans keep shooters accountable, whereas Doc, like, sometimes we hit, sometimes we miss. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, he's not wrong in his theory. Yeah, that is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you hit your streaky shooters. That's why when people boo Danny Green and they're like, this guy sucks, he's got to get out of town, he's brutal. I mean, really? Is that really what it is? Or is he right now? Like, I love how his ceiling was so high that, he was shooting 40, 42, 41 in that range for such a quite amount of time that now he's shooting above league average and he still stinks at his age. It's like, no, he doesn't stink at his age. You just need to recognize that Seth Curry was traded for Josh Richardson for a reason. Danny Green was traded for Al Horford for a reason. While they are nice and they have nice roles, they have flaws, or else they would not have been traded for those players. With that said, recognize there will be nights where everything falls and there will be nights where everything misses. And guess what? Who knows? Against the Milwaukee Bucks, it could be one of those nights where Matisse Thybulle shots aren't falling, where Furkan's not falling, where Danny Green doesn't have that first opening quarter. Instead of making his first couple of shots, he bricks them. Or maybe they're a little long, or they clank off the iron, whatever the case may be. And now, okay, you might not have the same outcome. That is going to happen. That's called being a streaky shooter. So you need to recognize that for sure. $2 donation from Jake Elliott. Pete's nice and black and blue Yeti. Oh, yeah, I love my coffee black and my blue Yeti. I need to find a way to get my screaming logo on like a Yeti. I have it on a standard coffee mug on my Teespring, but that's not the same as like a Yeti. I would love to get like one that's like, I don't know. Maybe we can look into some things. Maybe we can do a little bit of research and see what can happen. The Phillies are rocking a likely in-season lineup today. Yes, they are, and that's always fun for sure. I want to see Aaron Nola get on the bump. Let's see some of his off-speed pitches. Let's see some of his location. Let's see that fastball, which is really a change-up to some. Oh, I didn't have to do that. Did I have to do that? Did I have to take a shot at what Aaron Nola does? No, come on. He's a good pitcher, Brodes. That's ridiculous. Don't make fun of his velocity. He still does magic with that special velocity, which is like 92 miles per hour, which is incredible to me. But yeah, I'm super excited to watch it all, man. Bryce Harper, there's nothing like Bryce Harper getting up to the plate, and we're just inching our way closer. It's a perfect way to describe it. We're inching our way closer. I don't know how long I'm going to hold this mug up to my mouth and talk and not take a sip. Amazing. Where was I? Oh yeah, we're inching our way closer. I need it. We're getting there. It's now the 16th of March. So before you know it, it'll be April 1st, and we'll be talking about a legitimate baseball game. Now, I don't go wins, loss when it comes to the Phillies, obviously. But when the regular season starts, and I don't know where I saw this recently, I was listening to something, and they were talking about the Phillies. I'm pulling it up here on this calendar, here on the schedule. I didn't realize what they started the season off with that is going to be pretty crazy, because you're going to have to start off hot, right? I mean, it's 162. It's not like it's a 60-game sprint and all, but you want to make sure you start yourself on the right foot. 3 games against the Braves, 3 games against the Mets, 3 games against the Braves, 4 games against the Mets, 3 games against the Cardinals. Then you got some Giants in there. You got the Rockies. 4 games against the Cardinals. Then it starts the Mets again. And not that the Cardinals are, your dominant Cardinals, because everyone talks about how weak that division is going to be. But, you got the Brewers, the Braves, the Nats. Man, you got yourself a doozy to kind of start the season off. Just, I know I went a little farther. So let's just take it from a simple approach. 3 games against the Braves, 3 games against the Mets, 3 games against the Braves, 4 games against the Mets. That's the start of your season. And for a team that is supposed to be at the top, both teams are supposed to be at the top, both the Mets and the Braves at the top of this NL East. Guess what? You better win baseball games early on. You better figure this out early on. Because if you don't, you can start yourself off with like a 2-6, and here we go. You know what I'm saying? So just something to think about. Desert Eagle says, "What's up, bro? Want to hear something funny? I saw someone that looks exactly like you, hair, facial, and all, but I doubt you live in Delaware County." No, I do not live in Delaware County. I do not. I am a South Jersey native. Yeah, I am the good old dirty Jers, as I like to call it. Maybe that's why I love Jersey Shore so much. I'm rocking it again for the 10,000th time. Must-watch television, may I add. Do I think the Eagles make any moves? This is coming in from Dominic. Yeah, they're going to make some moves. It's not going to be the sexy moves that you think. Now, there were some reports that they were in on John Johnson before he ended up signing with Cleveland. And there were also some reports that said he actually took less money to go to Cleveland, and he was offered, quote, significantly more money in other places, and the Eagles were in on John Johnson. Doesn't mean they're one of those teams that offered significantly more, but they were one of those teams that were involved. I think you'll see some moves. They're still over the cap. They still have the Zach Ertz drama to kind of continue with. They got to try and make a move for him. They seem to be unrealistic with where his value is. They see this as like a third round pick, apparently, and you're not going to get anything like that for a guy like Zach Ertz. So Zach Ertz has become frustrated. My point of bringing that up is, you got to make sure you continue to move around these pieces that you need to and create that cap space, which is going to be not much. Do they make any moves? Yeah, you're going to have to make some sort of moves. It's not going to be the moves that people want, though. It's not going to be the moves that gets everyone juiced up, or that big signing that maybe you're looking for. What do you think of Green or Curry coming off the bench? I don't think that that's going to be the best move for this team. There's a reason why the Sixers starting five has been the Sixers starting five to this point and hasn't changed when everyone was healthy. You talk about spacing with Ben. You talk about Joel Embiid being able to be the guy he is. He's not able to drop 50. He's not able to drop all these points. If you don't have this correct spacing around him, you need that. It's important. And there's really no one that you're sliding in there that deserves starting rotation minutes. Furkan, Mike Scott, Shake Milton, and I know here's the one that everyone wants right now, Matisse Thybulle. You need that spacing. You need that room for Ben Simmons. You need that room for Joel Embiid. You need that room for these guys to play. You have to have the spacing. What was one of the biggest reasons why we were so pumped up in the beginning of the year? I'll tell you why. The team made sense. The roster made sense. Spacing. Now all of a sudden, you want to get rid of that spacing. I don't know. I don't enjoy that. I want as much spacing on the floor. I want Danny Green on the floor. How bad did your tattoos hurt? This is from Must Process. A little out of the box, but the difference between, like, when someone asks me if they're getting something, oh, did it hurt? What does it feel like? All this, your adrenaline kicks in for such a period of time where if you're in there for an hour and a half or so, you're good. Your adrenaline's kicking. It's a little bit of a pinch. It's a little bit of a grimace here and there. The problem is I'm like a 6, 7, 8 hour session guy now. Now it's like, okay, 4 hours in, I can't feel my arm anymore. My skin is irritated and it's a pain in the ass. So depends on what you're looking for. If you're a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour half sleeve attempt, well then, yeah, you know what? By hour 3 or 4, you're going to be in some pain and it's going to hurt because you're getting jabbed with a needle for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. If you're going in for an hour, 45 minutes, a half hour, getting something tiny, your adrenaline's riding so much that you're good, man. You're good. You won't feel too much. If Lions got a third for Tate, why not a third for Ertz? And this is a $2 donation coming in because you got to think of the tight end market. Right now, with this tight end market, with his contract situation, you could probably go out and get there. Now, who did they? What did I miss? What did I'm trying to look it up. Who did they trade who to for a third? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't paying. The free agency did not move my needle yesterday too much because I knew that the Eagles weren't going to be involved with much. So what did I miss in terms of what they got a third for? You'd have to tell me in the chat, and then I can respond to that. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. Do I have any Philly sports tattoos? Yes, I do. On this sleeve here, I have all the logos and the Love Park logo. I don't know if you can see the Love Park up at the top, but I do have the 4 teams. This was my first tattoo, actually. This one here. All 4 of these teams. There you go. My camera works backwards sometimes. So, yeah, I do have the four squads up at the top with the Love Park logo. Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, what I'm going to Golden Tate to the Eagles. Yeah. That I didn't know what you were going for there. I didn't know what was happening yesterday with the Tate for the Lions. And I was a little confused. I'm sorry. It's a little early. Always the excuse here. Not enough coffee. Look, it doesn't mean that was the right. That doesn't mean it was the right market value. If you are if you are Howie Roseman, you made that push. A lot of people said, why would you overpay? Why would you go out and spend a third for Golden Tate? Just because that happened in the past. And I'll bring back up the comment here in the $2 donation. If the Lions got a third for Tate, why not a third for Ertz? I thought that this was in reference to something that happened yesterday, so I was a little jumbled in my brain. But that doesn't mean that was the right price. It doesn't mean, like, at that point, you were trying to make a push. You overpaid for a guy. It doesn't mean because that happened that just like, okay, what happened between the Lions and the Rams with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, just because that happened, that didn't really set the market for quarterbacks. The quarterbacks went in its own direction after that trade between the Lions and the Rams. They just wanted to get something done. So because you ended up getting a third for Golden Tate, if you're the Lions, it doesn't mean that, okay, for Zach Ertz, you have to get the same type of compensation in return. The third for Ertz, you're not going to get that. It's just too much for a tight end market that you can go out and get cheaper. And it's not that his contract is hefty for this 1 year, you know what I mean? But you also are coming off of an injury. That's big. You don't know. But if you're getting prime Zach Ertz, yeah, this 1 year isn't insane for his value in terms of price, but there's a lot of options on the table for what you can do. You can get creative with tight end where trading compensation for Zach Ertz, paying the salary for Zach Ertz, and all that. I think that plays a role. And yeah, Armzebra makes a good point. You're now talking about, the Eagles need to get rid of him. They have to. They are. The divorce is inevitable, which makes you lose leverage. This isn't the trade deadline. So at the trade deadline, people like to overpay to get their guys, right? So there's a lot in play on it. Fran comes in and says the Phillies lineup today. Yes, it tickles my fancy. Oh, it absolutely tickles my fancy. Are you kidding me? You got, and I'll read it off again. This would be the third time we're reading it off on today's show, but that's how much I'm excited. Some would say aroused. McCutcheon, Hoskins, Harper, Bohm, Gregorius, Segura, Knapp, Moniak. See, I liked it. I do think, I know we go through this all the time, so I'm not going to sit here and freak out about it. I don't like Reese Hoskins in the 2-hole. I think the Phillies like Reese Hoskins in the 2-hole. So if this is what your lineup is, McCutcheon, Hoskins, Harper, Bohm, cleanup, Gregorius at 6, JT at 7 when healthy. You get a little bit of your righty lefty. So with the Hoskins, you know what I mean? You get a little bit of the righty lefty. You get JT in there as a righty, and you kind of get a little flip flop going. I like that, man. McCutcheon, Hoskins, Harper, Bohm, Didi, JT. Wow, that's something that I love, man. That is something that I love. Yeah, Mickey Moniak is cracking the lineup today. He is. I don't know how to feel about Mickey Moniak, to be honest with you. I'm not a big supporter of Mickey Moniak. And yes, this spring training is better than anything we've seen out of the kid. Had 2 ding-dongs in a game. He had a nice opposite field double in the gap off the wall the other day. So he is making some noise. There's no doubt he's making some noise. But there's something about Mickey Moniak that I think it's Ian Anderson. Thinking about him pitching for the Braves pisses me off while this guy's tripping out in left field. Jimmy Schwartz says, Brody, why no Flyers video after the game last night? There was a Flyers video after the game last night. There were actually two. There were two Flyers videos after the game last night. One was instant, right after the game. Myself, Mark Farzetta, Riley Cote, and Nasty all hopped into a live stream that was live streaming on my YouTube page, on Mark Farzetta's Twitter, on some Facebook pages out there for the Nasty Knuckles pod. And we went instant live reaction for about half hour. And after that, I watched the third period of the Battle of Alberta because, of course, I did. I need that in my life. And then after that, I put it up. So it went live around 1 a.m., 1:15, 1:30 a.m. But there were actually two post-game Flyer shows last night. My traditional solo pod, and then we had a little bit with some friends and some guests. So is the Phillies game televised today? Is it a away game? I honestly, I stream all the away games anyway. They are at the Tigers. So maybe if you find a Tigers stream, I would imagine that there is a Tigers stream. Why don't we do this together? We'll look up Detroit Tigers spring training televised schedule. What's today's date? March 16th, right? All right, so if they have one for March 16th, really? What is wrong with teams? They are only broadcasting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baseball games. I feel spoiled knowing that at least the Phillies have almost every home game. All the home games are at least televised. Like, I looked through some of these. The Blue Jays have no feed. The Tigers are telling me they only have 5 feeds. 5 feeds, that's it. Luckily, one of them is the Phillies on the 24th of March. I guess that's next week. But what the hell? Now I'm pissed. I thought I'd be able to go watch the opposing team's broadcast, but apparently no. Apparently I can't. Now I'm pissed. Scott Kingery needs to be traded. He sucks. Scott Kingery does suck. The fastball is his kryptonite. Dude can't catch up to any type of speed with the fastball. He's opening up his hips. His form is all out of whack. Scott Kingery, it's no. Out on Scott Kingery. Utility role player. I understand his value from a role player view, but you expect way more out of Scott Kingery. There's no denying that. And realistically, you might not even be able to use him. Like, it's getting to that level of ugliness with the strikeout rate with the fastballs. Let's look up what his spring training numbers are as we speak. All right, let's make this screen a little bigger. My eyes. All right, spring training. He is hitting 120, only 27 at-bats, 25 at-bats. Where's his strikeouts, though? 11 strikeouts in 25 at-bats, hitting 120. Oof. Scotty. Now, he got drilled, not hit by a pitch, but there was a brutal call outside corner and low in my estimation. And he got rung up the other day. It's like, ooh, poor Scotty. The guy can't catch a break. It's been so bad for him. But, yeah, not good. Pretty much not good. I was up until 2 a.m., watched the video. Love that, man. Love that arm zebra. I love the support. Always appreciated when I hear that people are staying up till 2 a.m. just to watch a reaction of a game right after everything goes down. Okay, Brodes, Apple or Android? Pretty simple for me. All Apple products for the most part, right? Apple products, got to have the iPhone. I also have what else? Of course, the MacBook Pro. I have a MacBook Pro. Now, I do go PC. I went PC for all this, for all the recording stuff. So I did maneuver my way over to the PC life, the Windows life a little bit. So that has transitioned. But at heart, and this is the funny thing about this, because I have a friend group that's anti-Apple. You know, you always have that one friend that's like, oh, I have a green text message, or I screw up the group chat. You're an asshole. There's always those guys. But I know Apple screws you. Apple bones you. Apple's the worst. Apple is pathetic. They screw you on purpose over and over and over again. and I'm here for it. Screw me, baby. That's what I say to Apple. You want to fuck me over? Fuck me over. You want to overcharge me? Overcharge me. I'll get the next iPhone. You want to seriously raise my bill? Invoice me whatever you'd like. Screw me over every day of the week, and I am so loyal to you. That's how you know you have a brand, right? That's how you know you have a brand if you're Apple, where people acknowledge that, wow, this is pathetic. Why does this keep happening? You're telling me you blow up my software on purpose? You tell me you make my phone slow so I am forced to buy the next iPhone? Genius. I love that. I almost respect that. I almost appreciate that so much that I will buy 2 of the next iPhones and have one just sit off to the side just because I want to appreciate how you bone me. How's that? How's that? I remember the 3-run walk-off against the Braves last year. There was also when Andrew Knapp had a walk-off to right field. So everyone has those moments. Everyone has those games where, they have that big home run or that big double in the gap that knocks in 3 guys or 2 guys or just one big RBI. Everyone has those moments, right? So Scott Kingery has it. Andrew Knapp has it. Brad Miller has it. Bamboo Brad Phil Gosselin has it. Sean Rodriguez has it, right? Who blows. So everyone has it. So if you have one of those, okay. But that's, everyone has it. Michael wants to know where I went to college. I started out at Stevenson University down in Maryland, and then I transferred at Rowan here in South Jersey. So I ended up graduating from Rowan with a sports communications and media degree. So had a great time at Rowan. Really did. It was a great job. Just joined. What's going on? What's happening? Did you join while I was discussing Apple products? Because I can understand why that would be a little bit not tricky, but a little bit interesting of a conversation to walk into if you didn't know. Yeah, Andrew Knapp homered off DeGrom. That's right. The lethal weapon he is. Now it's getting to a good temperature where you can give it like a good chug. You know what I mean? Make sure it's running through the vein. That when you get a good sip, maybe I'm an idiot here, but I can truly feel it like go through my entire body and give me what I need in life. That's why I love the coffee so damn much. Brodes was getting passed out at Rowan parties. Not so much. Not so much. When I went to Rowan, I lived at home and just commuted to Rowan. So I didn't live that lifestyle of being, I went to college. All right. So I played juniors for 3 years after high school. So I went into college as a 21-year-old freshman, played 2 years of college hockey. Then when I was 23, I ended up transferring to Rowan. So I'm 23. I'm living with my girlfriend at the time and all. So I'm at 23, 24, 25. I was working essentially full time. I wasn't living that party life at Rowan when I was finishing up my junior and senior year at 23, 24 years old. I was kind of already working full time. And I was at Rowan. I wasn't passed out on the floor at frat parties, if you will. That was more of my junior hockey days and my first 2 years playing college hockey, where the partying of Brodes was a little bit different. But yeah, when I was at Rowan, I was a little bit older and was working and all. So not that. Yes, I'm 25 now. So yeah, I've recently, I went to school a little later in life. So I've recently finished up everything as of within this last year. Yep, got that late start for playing hockey. Wanted to chase the hockey dream and did to a degree. And then decided, it's funny how life works, right? Hockey was my life for 22 years. And there was a moment where something snapped in my brain and I was like, no. I love sports talk radio. I got to do this. And then we went in head down mode, and here we are. Wayne Ellington would be a perfect pickup for the Sixers, and he would be cheaper than Lowry. He wouldn't even be close to the level of production as Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is way more of a winner, way more of a starter, way more of a player than Wayne Ellington. Wayne Ellington is your standard guy that everyone discusses every year in the market for a playoff team. Like, he's that standard guy that's discussed every single year. Every single not off season, but Trade deadline, buyout market, Wayne Ellington. He's in that group of guys, I feel, that everyone talks about every year. Would he help your team? Yes. Kyle Lowry is starting rotation, 30-plus minutes in the playoffs type of guy. Wayne Ellington would barely sniff some minutes. So there's a difference there. He'd play. If you're making a move for him, he'd play. Huge difference between Kyle Lowry and Wayne Ellington, right? $2 donation coming in from Jake Elliott. I'm 19. Any advice on going back to school? Look, I mean, I'm not someone who, when it came to school for me, it didn't come hard to me. It wasn't hard, so I don't know. It depends on how you are as a student. I just made sure I stayed on top of everything. And when I stayed on top of everything, it was easy for me to kind of get the job done, if you will. So if you let things slip, if you get behind, then you start getting stressed and you're writing 7 papers one night and you got to stay up. And don't get me wrong, there were moments where I waited to the last minute, but in terms of, at least it was in on time. I'll just stay on top of everything. If you stay on top of everything, you should be good to make it work. Oh, the Phillies play the Blue Jays today? Oh, yeah, tomorrow's the Tigers game. I apologize. Tomorrow is the Tigers game, right? So, yeah, I don't think I'm an idiot. Some would say that I'm an idiot. So let's go to Blue Jays spring training televised game. Now, they're the worst. They're the worst with this. All right, let's see the Blue Jays. Let's see if this is on the list. What is today's date? Nope, they're not on either. The next time they're on against the Philadelphia Phillies on Sportsnet is March 20th, which would be this weekend. So you do not get but the last time they played the Braves, the Blaze. Now I'm combining the two. The Blue Jays. The last time they played the Blue Jays, they did have a special feed on like Toronto Blue Jays' Twitter where there was no commentary and it was sort of like in an outfield view. It kind of had like one of those lower end D1 college baseball game vibes, or if you ever see college soccer or college lacrosse or one of those unique games that's on ESPN News or ESPNU, it sort of had that view to it. So maybe it's going to be there. So if you're looking for it, why don't you go check out the Toronto Blue Jays Twitter feed to see if they tweet anything out. Maybe it's too early to tweet something out now. If you're them, maybe they do have one out there. I guess we'll check on the fly. Back by popular demand, fan cutout. Nope, they tweeted out their lineup. No, the last thing they did was tweeted out their lineup. So just something to look into if you are interested in looking for their feed. Christian Romero, did you play for Team Comcast? Yes, I did. I played for Team Comcast my U16 year, both of my U16 years and my U18 year. So I played there for 3 seasons before playing junior. Ellington would be a perfect replacement for Furkan. Anyone to get Furkan Korkmaz off the court, I am here to do that. So please, anyone to get him off, I am doing that. This is coming from from Quebec City. Love your channel. Philadelphia is awesome. Ooh, we got Canadians in the house. Dude, I'm a big Canada guy. I'll be honest. There's a little bit of me that just wants to move to Toronto and kick it. You know what I mean? Just move to Toronto, maybe Ottawa. Maybe not so much Ottawa, to be honest with you, but more of Toronto, maybe Vancouver, although I know it could be expensive, and just kick it, dude. I'm a cold guy at heart. Give me freezing, give me snow, give me pounds and pounds of snow where I got to shovel and have the snow blower. Just live in Canada. Hockey's life. Give me some of that. There's a little bit of me that just wants to go move into the middle of Toronto, middle of Vancouver, and just that's my life. Brodes is a Canadian now. Kind of want to do that for sure. Do you think we beat Jalen Mills top? I think this was a mixed up comment here. Jalen Mills of the Patriots. Yes, that happened yesterday. Versatile player. If he's playing 100% of your snaps, that's probably someone you'll get frustrated with. But I think he's got a role in this league. I think he's got swag confidence to play in this league. But he's more of your versatile type of player, not 100% of the snaps kind of guy. And it'll be interesting to see how Bill Belichick uses him. Patriots went all out with this weird philosophy that you are not accustomed to doing it. They went with this mode of, going out and spending and trying to, and maybe that's Bill Belichick's mode now. Hey, we don't have Tom Brady. We got to do something different. Tom Brady could get the job done without any sort of players. We need players. We need help. We are struggling. We're missing out on some guys. We got to get better. They brought in Nelson Aguilar. They picked up Jalen Mills. They picked up other help on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know, though. Like, this is so out of the box. This is so out of character. I would imagine that this is almost like a desperate move. It's almost like they are getting desperate, and we'll see. Will it pay off? Will Bill Belichick be able to work with this and rejuvenate the Patriots, or are they going to stink again? My guess is we're going to be talking about them 9-10 weeks into the season as, I don't know if they can hang with the Bills. I don't know what to expect out of Cam Newton. Is Cam Newton going to be the Cam Newton he was a few years ago, or is he still going to continue to be this guy that can't really throw the football at all anymore, right? I think it's more towards that. I think that's more where you are here, is him stinking. Jake Elliott says, trying to learn hockey. Can you kind of explain it? Hockey's a tough one to explain because there's so many things that matter, like offsides and with the neutral zone and all. Like, there's so much in play. I understand why it's... honestly, if you were that interested in learning, I would almost look up some YouTube stuff where it's explaining the game. Hockey for dummies, if you will. Like that type of style. Not calling you a dummy. I'm saying hockey for dummies. It'll teach you the ins and outs. It'll teach you the standard basic X's and O's. It'll teach you just the general principle of hockey. If you're interested in that much in learning the game, kind of wanting to understand it more, I would say try and find some sort of YouTube video, Hockey 101, the basics of hockey, of the game, so you can kind of understand it from that mindset. For me, I think that I would get a little too out of hand, throw too much on you, and get a little crazy. My March Madness bracket, I haven't even filled it out yet, to be honest with you. Is Jalen Hurts better than Daniel Jones? I've seen 4 games of Jalen Hurts. I don't know. Could he be? Sure. I don't think it's crazy to say that Jalen Hurts could be better than Daniel Jones, but I don't know if that tells me much. Is Daniel Jones even good? I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of Daniel Jones. I don't think that he is your... I think what Daniel Jones is a nice little quarterback. Keep you competitive. He'll have some mistakes. He'll fumble the football. He'll throw some interceptions. But he'll have some exciting plays, and he'll have some nice moments, and he'll help you win some football games. But I don't look at Daniel Jones as your franchise guy. If I had to bet, I'd say the Giants are picking a new quarterback soon when they realize that maybe Daniel Jones isn't the guy that they thought he was, and then Gettleman gets fired, and then they start all over with this whole new identity with Giants football. So even if Jalen Hurts is better than Daniel Jones, I don't think that that's telling me much. I think that's more telling me that Daniel Jones is not the player that the Giants thought they picked, although maybe it is what they thought, except for Gettleman, because there were fans that did not like the pick. Then the Giants fans somewhat turned and said, maybe it's not so bad. But if it ends up being where he's not your franchise guy, all the fans were right. It was more Gettleman that was wrong. So I think he can be better. Yeah, I think he can be better. I don't know if that's telling me much about Jalen Hurts. I think it's telling me more about Daniel Jones. Wow, how about this? The Unknown comes in. Hey, Brodes, finally got a chance to watch your live Coffee with Brodes. It's midnight here in Melbourne. So why don't you grab a coffee? What's wrong with a little midnight coffee to get yourself relaxed for bed? I do that. I just do it at 9, 10 o'clock. Although last night I went soda, and I'm not like this huge soda guy, but I've been on this kick lately of a Dr. Pepper, and I drink this Dr. Pepper at 11 o'clock at night, and it hits me just like a coffee. That caffeine rush is insane. It goes through my body. Now I'm staring at the wall at 3 a.m. Well, I'm watching Jersey Shore. I'm not just staring at the wall. I'm watching Snooki fight Angelina in Miami. I mean, it's just great stuff. Vinny falling in love with this chick that's standing him up and not going on a date with him. It's great television. But why not have a nice little 12 o'clock coffee with Brodes? It would mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate you you staying up there to catch the live stream. I really do appreciate that. Brodes, does your tattoos mean something to you? There are some that do. It started out that way, and now it's more, let me sit in the chair and pick out something that's sick in your sketchbook. So it started out with, I got hockey stuff. I know this is a tough angle to show some. I got some stuff about my hockey career. I got like my birthday and some roses and a clockwork and all. And then it turned into like, I love koi fishes, always loved the koi fish concept. And the Philly sports obviously means a lot. And then, a woman's face. It turned into like, that woman's face is cool. Let's get it. That lion and tiger's cool. Let's get it. And that's kind of where it has transitioned in my life. How old was I when I got my first tattoo? How old was I? I don't know, 20 maybe, in that range. Daniel Jones is the quarterback equivalent of Costco pizza. Unreal. Where else are we? Will Embiid still win the MVP if he's out 2 weeks? Zach, I don't think so. I think we have established, maybe not established, but I think we got to recognize that, first off, it'll be more than 2 weeks, in my opinion. So with that, if it's, let's say it's 4 weeks, there's no way in hell, right? There's no way in hell. So I think it's going to be more than 2 weeks. I think we're doubling that. And if you're going to miss 4 weeks at this point of the season, 3-4 weeks, if not even more, I think that you are screwed for the MVP race. So it's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate because that's such a cool personal accolade. But in all honesty, I don't really care about the MVP voting. But I do feel robbed as a fan because we talk about those 50-point performances. That's special. That's a fun regular season game. That's something that you got to enjoy the journey of watching Joel Embiid, and you feel robbed of watching that. If you had Allen Iverson back in 2000, 2001 being the player that he was, and then you don't see him for 15, 17, 18 games after he's constantly giving you 40, after he's constantly running up and down the floor and crossing over any player that comes his way, and then you just don't see that anymore. Well, yeah, it's disappointing, and it hurts because you were robbed. You were robbed of that greatness of Allen Iverson. So that's how I feel. I just feel robbed. But in terms of like, hey, he's not going to win it. Yeah, it sucks for him, but I'm all about winning a championship. Thoughts on Alec Boehm? What can't Alec Boehm do? What can't Alec Boehm do? Down 0-2, waits for a good pitch, works the count back to 1-2, beautiful swing, 3-0 count. Some guys take that pitch. If you're a good hitter, you're swinging. What's he do? Beautiful stroke, beautiful swing of the bat, knocks in Scott Kingery perfectly. Now credit the Jetpacks for walking to first base and stealing second. Without that steal to second base, you're not getting that RBI from Alec Boehm. But if he's down 0-2, he battles back. He waits for his pitch. He works it 1-2, bang, finds a good pitch to drive smoothly. Up 3-0. I mean, the guy can do it all, man. Alec Boehm is insane. What are my thoughts on Fitz to Washington? Look, I think Fitz is a guy that keeps you relevant. If that team last year was winning with Alex Smith and they had that carousel and that moving rotation of three quarterbacks, you can win. If you can win the division, and keep in mind, the product of the division was garbage. Dak Prescott went down with the gruesome injury that really limited what the Dallas Cowboys could be with Ben DiNucci and Andy Dalton. If you could win the division with what you did last year, you can win it with Ryan Fitz. That's just my thoughts on it. What's the ceiling? I don't know. There's a ceiling there, obviously. You get capped out at some point. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, though, if you won the division last year with that team based off of what your defense is, that scary defense with Ron Rivera, guess what? You can win the division again with Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, the fourth-round pick for the Phantoms is absolutely insane. What's his last name? Wisdom? Is that his last name, Wisdom? I think that's him, right? Yeah, he's tearing it up. Yeah, he's tearing it up. Thoughts on the Sixers versus Knicks tonight? I think the Sixers are going to get the job done. The Knicks are not a good team, and I know that at one point they were like fourth in the East, which is crazy. But I think if they can do, I don't expect them to do what they did to the Spurs again. That's not something that you can repeat. But if you can beat a good team like the Spurs without your top dog, you should be able to beat the Knicks without your top dog. Although this This smells like one of those games where you do slip and then people get upset. How can you beat one team one night and lose to the Knicks the next night? How can you overlook your opponent? You know, that type of mentality, I think, is something that you probably see. Thoughts on Jalen Mills signing with the Pats? I thought that Jalen Mills had a role, versatile, nice little role, considering 7th-round pick. He was a success story here in Philadelphia, helped win the Super Bowl. I also thought it was time, though. Thought it was time for Jalen Mills to move on, get this new identity. I'm happy for him. I'm hoping he succeeds. I never want to see the Patriots succeed unless Tom Brady's there winning more Super Bowls. That's not the case. So I'm not rooting for them to succeed as a team. But yeah, like Jalen Mills, from a 7th-round pick to where he is now, I think he's got a role. I think you depended on him to do too much here at times, which frustrated you. His lack of speed was not helping him. The double move was a problem. I thought the safety experience last year was very up and down. There were some good moments. There were some bad moments, but he was willing to take on that challenge. He clearly has the proper mindset of, I'm going to destroy this opportunity. I'm going to attack this opportunity. He'll play anything. Hey, you want me to play here? I'll play here. You want me to do this? I'll do this. Like, he has that motor of, fine, I'll play wherever you want me to play. So I do like that. But I thought it was time for Jalen Mills to kind of get something new and a new, fresh identity here. What's up, Ethan? What's going on, man? Who's the best player in Philly right now? Who's the face of Philly? It's got to be Harper and Embiid. It's got to be Joel Embiid. As much as Bryce Harper is a face of a sport, I think it's Joel Embiid right now. Joel Embiid is the face of Philadelphia. The Phillies haven't been relevant enough, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, Bryce Harper is a huge face of sports, but if the Phillies are in the postseason and making runs, different story. Joel Embiid is. And I know it's only in the 2nd round, but he talks like he's got a personality. He's got this background of who he is, and he's funny, and he's goofy, and he's crying after Game 7, and there's storylines, and he's in the MVP races, and I just think that there's more appealing national storylines out of Joel Embiid that would make him more of the face of. And I know that there's a difference between the national storylines and you're mentioning here in Philadelphia, but at some point it kind of coexists together and it somewhat overlaps each other as well. I'll go Joel Embiid, but obviously Bryce Harper is right behind it. I was thinking about this. I know this is such a standard conversation, and it's something that gets thrown around a lot. But I really do think Claude Giroux is one of the most underappreciated, underrated athletes in Philadelphia. And that will have maybe when he retires, people realize that he has 1,000 games played, 1,000 points. That's all going to happen for Claude Giroux. And maybe once that's over, you really appreciate, like, damn. But the lack of playoff runs from the organization, not the one captain, the organization, is going to hurt how he's viewed. But I don't think he's getting enough respect for who he is, because what he has done here is special. It's not easy to do. It's very difficult. He's going to be up there with the greatest of the greats of Philadelphia Flyers history. And we're not appreciating that because of the frustration of the goalie problem, the front office problems, the lack of playoff runs. And he has a hand in that. He has a hand in that, obviously. But to take away what his career has been is very unfair. Very unfair. Do I think the Sixers win at least today or tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be tough. So hopefully they win today, because if they don't win today, you have an opportunity to fall 2 in a row, and that's not good. Vinny V is the face. Please no. How about that? Remember that play he had in left field where he came up charging the ball? Beautiful throw to home plate. Just an athlete, right? He also had that play where the ball hit him in the hand or hit him in the arm and his glove fell off, or maybe he shook his glove off and he picked up the ball and threw it with his glove hand to first base. How about Michael Givens calling me out right now? Brodes, don't end it at 10. You started a few minutes late. Ooh, coming at me a little bit, although I was thinking the same thing. So I have a timer here on my screen and I go off of. And I pretty much, it's an hour show. That's the goal here, bro. So 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is what it normally is when I start at 9. But if we start at 9:03, then we go till 10:03. It is the show is 1 hour long. So if I do go a couple minutes over, as Michael is throwing me under the bus here for anyone that started late. We will go a couple minutes later, but I'm just having some fun, Michael. I appreciate the support. The fact that you're demanding me to stay until that 1 hour is complete. I respect that and love that out of you. Did you see that Jalen Hurts is working out with Jamar, Devontae, and Jalen Waddle? I saw that he's working with a bunch of receivers. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, look at Jalen Hurts working hard in the offseason. Just like there were plenty of years where Carson Wentz went to Texas and brought all the wide receivers with him, except for Alshon Jeffrey. He didn't show. But there were so many off seasons where, hey, Carson Wentz is working with Rager. Carson Wentz is working with the wide receivers. Carson Wentz is working with everyone. Like, that's kind of what off seasons are supposed to be like. That's what you are supposed to do. And that's what these quarterbacks do. One of very random, but I'm not going to disagree at all. It's coming from Mikey. One of the greatest moments in MLB history was when Bartolo Colon's moonshot. Bartolo Colon. What a guy. The fact that he was real, the fact that Big Sexy was a thing, the fact that my man was a pitcher for as long as he was and had his home runs, man, that's insane, dude. That's insane. Love it. Literally love it. I don't care if you have to sell my soul. I'm going to UFC 261 in Florida in April. Let me ask you this. With this Masvidal fight, round 2, the last time he fought Usman, it was on very, very short notice. So Masvidal didn't have that preparation. And everyone kind of figured, hey, Usman was going to win. I'll ask you, Pat, is this the right fight? Who was the other guy? Chandler, right? Did Chandler deserve an opportunity to go in there and have a proper fight at Usman? Is that the right way to go? That is the right weight class, right? Chandler, because people were asking if Chandler was the guy that should have had a chance to fight Usman after what he did in that same card, if I remember correctly. Masvidal, it might be the fight that sells, which is what I get it. UFC is all about selling, and it's a better storyline. But is that the right fight? There's a difference between being okay, never mind. Chandler's not the guy I'm thinking of. Okay, I apologize then. I apologize because there was someone that was when Chandler had that nice fight and they were talking. I forget who it was, but still learning UFC. Is this the right fight or is this the sexiest fight? Because I do understand that there's a difference here. Now I apologize for the. I'm looking up now who I'm thinking of because I'm going to the UFC rankings to see where we are here. All right, Usman. Who was I thinking that maybe should have got the fight? Masvidal. I'm looking at some names here. I'm trying to think of who. Maybe I'm just mixing it up in general. Oh, was I thinking of Adesanya? Who was I thinking of where everyone was saying that, hey, maybe Chandler should get the fight? Who was I thinking of? Oh, yeah, Michael Chandler. Oh, yeah, Poirier. When Poirier won. Okay, that's what it was. When McGregor ended up getting beat by Poirier, that's when the discussion, Chandler was on the same card, and people were saying, does Chandler deserve a shot? What's going to happen with the belt if Khabib doesn't come back and fight? That's where I'm getting all confused with. I'm still learning. But yes, I'm looking at the weight classes now, and I'm mixing all the UFC events together in my brain. So, okay, so I asked the question, is Usman and Masvidal round 2 the right fight, or is it just the most popular fight? I just don't know. Does Masvidal have a chance here? Does Masvidal really have a chance? I think that now you have a proper preparation puts you in a better spot than you were when you just got thrown in there and it happened the way that did. There wasn't a lot of expectations. There wasn't a lot of reality of like, hey, Masvidal has that chance. Now it's prepared. They have the fight for it. They have it all properly planned out. Does Masvidal have a real shot in it? That is my question before we end the show. And while you guys respond in the comments, I will say this. Paul wants to know, how's my Jersey Shore binge going? I'm doing it as well. I'm in love. I literally record because my fiance falls asleep at night, not obviously, and but she goes to bed early, but I stay up till 2, 3 a.m. And I just like, you obviously can't see this, but like here's like Snooki, Sam. Like I record funny ass moments. I'm like, I need to show her this. It's so funny. I'm pissing myself at night, and I have to show her. Like it's so funny, man. So funny. Usman has fought everyone in the division. Yeah, Usman is unbelievable. I know. He's. It's hard to say, does anyone really have a chance against him? I get it. Nick says that Masvidal has a chance, but Usman is the most dominant welterweight since, yep, I know, GSP. I do know that it's going to be hard for Masvidal. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's I'm curious. I'm curious if people's expectations are Masvidal has a real shot at this thing because of now having that opportunity to train the right way, having the right length of time prior to the fight actually happening based off of what happened in the first fight against these two. But me and Furkan Korkmaz would beat Usman. That would be an interesting fight. But that's kind of where we're at here. It looks like I'm not getting the response from Pat. I was waiting for Pat's responses. He's the big UFC guy, but I don't know if I'm getting that answer here. But we're over an hour, and with that being said, we will end this on a wonky UFC conversation. So, yeah, with that being said, thank you for this show, Coffee Brodes with Coffee with Brodes. Thank you guys so much for listening. See you guys tomorrow on another morning with myself and my coffee. Thank you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.